What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Scene Invaders podcast, episode 425. You might notice that our property value has plummeted a little bit tonight because we do not have the beautiful Carly with us. She is very sad that she could not be here, but she did send us some stuff to share with you guys. So we'll definitely be hitting that later in the show when we talk about some of our favorite remakes, which is coming up later in the show. And we got the boys here tonight. So it is a sausage party here on the Scene
We are
Invaders podcast this evening.
unsupervised.
Yeah, oh god, trust me, it shows before the show because we were like, oh, this is what happens when like there's not a girl here to like rein us in a little bit. Although I will say Carly sometimes contributes to the madness and
I was about
craziness
to
that we have here.
Making her
We're
sound
all-
like the strict school marm. She's worse than all of us.
Okay, that's true. Yeah, I mean, we all kind of bring out the worst in each
God
other
love her.
sometimes. But we do have Mr. Brad from Canada. Mr. Brad from Canada, how are you?
How's it going? Hey, I'm doing great, And yes, Carly, we miss you, but we know you're having a good time not being here.
Of course, right, of course. Yeah. It's nice to have a little break every once in a while.
Totally.
And Mr. Coach, who just had some Korean fried
chicken with cucumber and wasabi dipping sauce.
Sounds lit.
That was kick-ass. And nice blue moon.
As one does.
Blue moons.
Yeah, and like I'm not a drinker, but Korean fried chicken.
I mean,
it was a good mixture.
And you had the grease there to kind of like soak everything up. So you're not going too hard, man.
Yeah, not too bad.
Uber is your friend.
So before we get started with what we watched this week and then move into some of our favorite remakes, we lost a real one, guys. Mr. Val Kilmer.
Yeah, this one really hurt.
It really did, man, because I can't think of a performance I didn't enjoy him in. Honestly, even the bad ones, like if you want to say Batman Forever or whatever, that's not the high point or anything, but he was still pretty cool in it.
Yeah, I mean, like he was no longer able to talk, but he could communicate, and like he had kind of withdrawn after the Top Gun Maverick. I don't want to call it cameo, but like his part in that.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's a shame that somebody that was so full of life and so full of just amazing characters just cut down in the middle of life.
Natural talent.
Yeah.
And he was 65, so he's not insane.
No, old. He's not necessarily old. He's not necessarily young, but considering he hasn't really done a lot in the last 10 years because of his illness, has been.
Yeah, his throat cancer and such, and he had to speak with a voice box. But previous to that, he did a one-man show where he played Mark Twain.
Yeah, has anybody seen that?
No,
I'm not.
I desperately want to see it now, and unfortunately, it takes this for me to see it.
Yeah, sure.
Did you see the I don't want to call it a documentary or biography documentary?
I did.
Val? Yeah, that was really great, and
that was really good.
That's where I learned about the Mark Twain
Yep.
Performance that he did, and all the disappointing circumstances around a lot of his movies, unfortunately, just because of poor co-stars. Talking to you, Brando. And not exactly agreeable directors.
Sure.
But I mean, he stars in some of my absolute favorite movies. First one off the top of my head is Heat.
I watch it probably 5 times a year.
Okay.
It's
the movie's stunning. There's not one thing wrong with that movie except for his weird elbow.
And then she has a great ass line. But other than that,
but that's a perfect line for that character who is supposed to be blowed on coke.
I know. I love the trivia that basically his use of the automatic weapon or semi-automatic weapon is taught in like SWAT schools and Army of how to change on the fly.
Yeah.
And it's funny now that all this stuff is resurfacing on Twitter now, the heartbreaking point where Ashley Judd sends him on his way. And at the end, and you watch him, he is smiles, and then heartbreak and gone. And it's all without any sound. And you can just see it on his face and the way it's shot. He was just amazingly talented. I probably watch Tombstone about 6 times a year.
Oh, wow.
Fantastic, of course.
Yeah. I'm really excited because it's coming to the theater in July, so I'm excited to see it on the big screen.
Have you ever seen it on the big screen?
I haven't. I've only
Okay.
seen it on the small screen, and
It's one of my favorite things, man, when they bring back something that I really love and
Yeah.
I
Oh, yeah, me
finally
too.
get to see it on the big screen. Ooh, it's a
I
good
mean,
feeling.
to me, that is the greatest performance that was not awarded anything ever.
It really did skirt any kind of like
Yeah, like
Oscar or award acclaim.
Sure.
But I mean, come on. It was
there's
fantastic.
two things that miss out for me, and in the first one is Kilmer in as a supporting actor, and the other one is Denzel in Malcolm X. And like to
Yeah.
me, those two are the biggest misses, long time.
Sure.
Yeah, but they rewarded Denzel later on for
Yeah.
the mishap, but
For the
unfortunately
mishap.
Kilmer didn't get a chance. There was I mean, first time I saw him was Top Secret.
Yeah.
And then he said he moved on to Real Genius, and then next he was Iceman.
Yeah.
And he went from
progresses
comedy
like that.
Yeah.
Who progresses like that? I remember when I never saw Top Gun when it first came out. I think I was like 11 or 12, maybe.
Okay.
All my friends went and saw it. It just really didn't have any interest to me. I don't know why.
Sure.
But so I saw it later on when we rented it. My friends had seen it. And I think I was 17 or 18 when I first saw it.
Mm-hmm.
And we're watching this show, and I'm like, Top Gun, they're all gaga over Tom Cruise. I like Tom Cruise as much as anybody.
Sure.
But I don't know, just Iceman just captured me. And I'm
Yeah.
like, that's the guy. I like that guy. And everybody else hated him. But you love to hate him. And I just loved him. So much to the point that I thought, well, I'm going to have some fun. And he won the Top Gun award. And I'm like, so this movie's about Iceman. And they're like, no,
Okay,
it's about. And I'm like, no, the movie's called Top Gun, Iceman. Wait till the end. And I'm like, he's still. Do they take his trophy away? And they're like, no. I'm like, well, then, Iceman, Top Gun, winner, yay!
Right.
This is the best Val Kilmer. This is about Tom Cruise. Shut up, morons.
Right.
I need better friends.
Yeah. Right. Real.
Or maybe
Yeah,
they need a better friend than me.
As I was perusing Twitter today, I saw a couple of interesting things. One was a really interesting flub that was trying to honor Val Kilmer, and they posted a photo of Batman, but it was Michael Keaton Batman. It's like, come on, guys. I mean, I realize he's under a lot of costuming there, but can't have been too hard to get that correct. But another one that really stuck out to me, I kept seeing it come across my timeline today, because of course, if you're on Twitter, you've seen a ton of stuff about Val Kilmer today, but this is from a tweet from Jennifer Tilly, actress Jennifer Tilly, and I'm going to read this, you guys.
From Bound.
Yes, from Bound, which is a great movie. We've talked about it recently. A long time ago, I was auditioning for the movie The Doors. It was kind of a cattle call. They paired together potential Jims and potential Pamelas, and they were running behind. So we were spilling out of the casting office, sitting on the porch, the lawn, and the driveway. All of a sudden, a 60s convertible came screeching up, blaring Doors music at top volume, and a guy jumped out and strode inside. He had wild hair, and he was barefoot, shirtless, and wearing nothing but a pair of tight leather pants. We all looked at each other like, who is this guy? We were more than a little shook by the sheer audacity of his entrance. Well, of course, it was Val Kilmer. And from that moment on, nobody else stood a chance. Rip King. And yeah, that's just such a hell of a way to like come in and like audition for your role. And
well, that's and then he goes from like it goes Doors, then he has the amazing cameo in True Romance.
Mm-hmm.
Then he goes to Tombstone, then he goes to Heat. Like that's in the matter of 2 years.
Stunning.
Yeah, I mean, like, and I honestly, like, I'm a big, he had a resurgence in the early 2000s of, like a bunch of movies I really loved. Like, he was in
Kiss, Bang, Bang.
Kiss, Kiss, Bang, Bang, The Salton Sea, Wonderland, where he played John Holmes.
Salton Sea is a movie that everyone should watch.
Yeah.
It is so
it's just poetry.
Different.
Oh,
it's beautiful on screen. I'm going to have a Val Kilmer feature this weekend and just throw on a bunch of Val Kilmer movies, because you know what, they're all bangers. They're all bangers.
Yeah, real.
He was in Spartan, the David Mamet movie. Like there's all these secondary ones that like everybody loves the main ones. But man, you can really go through his filmography and find some just absolute gems.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I forgot that he was in Wonderland.
Yeah, I mean, like he makes John Holmes just such a tragic figure.
Yeah, you feel bad for him.
And I've never seen that movie.
Oh, it's
yeah,
it's amazing. Does that have Kate Beckinsale in it?
It actually had like a lot of people. I want to say,
I
who was the girl with two different color eyes that was big back then?
Oh God, I don't know.
It was another Kate. Let's see, Kate Bosworth. So
Bosworth, that might
Val
be who I'm thinking
Kilmer, Lisa Kudrow, Christine Applegate, Kate Bosworth, Carrie Fisher was in it. Dylan McDermott, Michael Pitt, like Josh Lucas. Like there's a lot. This was just absolute stacked.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it was a great movie, and
Yeah.
it, like you said, tragic,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
played awesomely by. You hate to use the term legend, but honestly, he couldn't do wrong.
Yeah.
Well, I have something with my boss where like, when all these things happen, we got are they a legend? Is basically what we play, and that was the first thing. Is like, texted him this morning like, oh man, we lost a legend. He said, absolutely a legend. Like when Gene Hackman passed, yeah. I think Chris Christopherson was the one that he was like, well, maybe not. I was like, no, he's a legend. He's a legend.
Yeah, real.
But like, he will be missed, but he will not be. Val Kilmer's not going to be forgotten anytime soon.
No.
He's not going to just disappear into the
no, not into the sea of so many lost talent. But he can turn on TV right now and he'll be on somewhere.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
His performance was that poignant. Well, rest in peace, Mr. Kilmer. We'll miss you.
Rest in peace, King. For real. As Jennifer Tilly said, man.
What a great
All right. So I'm going to get us all started tonight. And I saw a lot of stuff this week, guys. I feel kind of like I'm back to being somewhat normal. Shit's been crazy lately. And oh my God, talking about spinning 500 plates at a time. Good Lord, that's what it feels like. But I took myself on a date last Friday to go see a few movies, actually. So the first one that I went to see last Friday was The Woman in the Yard, directed by Jome Colette Sarah. I don't know. We just talked about him about Carry On recently. He directed Orphan and shit. And starring Danielle Deadweiler. And this is a new Blumhouse horror film about a widow and her children who live in a house out in kind of the middle of nowhere. And suddenly one day a woman appears in the yard covered in a black veil and ominous shit ensues. And it was okay, guys. This movie was
what can you do with that? Seriously.
I didn't have super high hopes for this, and I didn't think it was terrible. This is a movie. Horror so often, especially nowadays, it seems like loves to deal in like grief and loss and all of that kind of stuff, and manifesting that in different ways, or mental health issues, that kind of stuff. And this movie absolutely goes in that direction. But I found the messaging and the overall point of this movie to be a little bit on the heavy-handed side and kind of obvious. You get a feel at a certain point about partway or halfway through this, probably, where you're like, I think I see what we're doing here, and I think I see where this is headed. But Danielle Deadweiler is reliably great, as always. I thought the kids who played her son and daughter in the film were perfectly serviceable here, and it's an extremely small cast. It's really just those three, and then the woman in the yard, played by, let me butcher the fuck out of this name, hold please, Okwe Okponkwasali. I don't know, guys. I butchered the fuck out of that, but she has a hell of a presence on camera, and she's menacing kind of, because at first you really don't know what's going on here. And this is not as big of a flop as a lot of Blumhouse stuff has been recently.
There's been a lot of flops lately, which is
Yeah, God,
depressing.
they're the king of the flops. Unfortunately, it
That
seems like
sucks.
recently. But yeah, I think this is worth a watch. This is definitely worth like a borrow or a rental. And this did go to much darker places than I anticipated that it would. It has an interesting use of like shadow and light and stuff as far as like the cinematography is concerned. So it plays with that stuff really, really well, and creates a couple of like pretty genuinely creepy moments. It's not a thing that like super relies on like cheap jump scares. There's a little bit of that going on in here, but it is sort of about like building atmosphere and creating a sense of like dread and tension. And it does fairly okay with this. I just wish it had been a little bit less heavy-handed, but overall I still think worth your time. It's just don't expect for it to be spectacular, because in my opinion it wasn't. It was serviceable though. So after that,
Well, did the trailer looked so much like a Jordan Peele movie
Kind of, yeah.
that I
That's the
was just
impression I
like,
got.
I thought it was going to bring in a little bit more of a box office because of that, but
I think that it would have been more interesting if someone like him had maybe
Maybe
done
if Jordan
something with
Peele had
it,
made it,
and if it
that
had
would
more
have.
of like a social commentary to it than it did like a mental health commentary. Um, and I think that could have been more interesting. It just needed something just a little bit meatier. I thought something more to like chew on, kind of. I mean, it does kind of swing for something sort of big in a way, but it just felt kind of thin to me overall by the end of it. But it is something I would watch again probably. But it is bleak, guys. It's quite bleak. It's depressing. It's not like a fun horror movie by any means. And some people I have seen after watching it and seeing some reviews and things on it, some people really disliked the direction that this movie decided to go, and it did not sit well with them. And I could kind of see that too. So I kind of get that. But yeah, rent it, guys. It's fine. But don't run out to the theater for it. I mean, go to the theater for anything because support it. But like,
Yeah.
you could probably find something better. So after this, I went to see the movie Locked, directed by David Yarovesky and starring Bill Skarsgård and Anthony Hopkins. And
I
this
wanted to
is
see this. I saw the commercial for it, and then it just
okay.
didn't play here at all.
Oh, boo! It seems like a small movie overall, even though it has Anthony Hopkins in it
But
and
I
Bill
like small
Skarsgård.
movies. I like
Yeah,
small,
me
and
too.
I'm a fan of Bill Skarsgård there, and I was just kind of like, this is no shock that stuff doesn't play around here. But I mean, even when I did like a broader search when I saw when it came out, because you said you saw it, I'm like, oh wait a minute, I thought it was coming out. I saw
Right.
that it came out like on the 21st, so I did a search, and it played nowhere, anywhere.
It'll be out in 2026 in Canada. Like,
Yeah, maybe.
God, hopefully. But this is sort of like a horror thriller, more on the thriller side, about down on his luck, not so great guy, a little bit of like a thief, a not wonderful man who has a daughter that he does care a lot for, but he's struggling financially, all this stuff. So one day he decides to break into this very fancy SUV. And once inside this, he realizes that he cannot get out of this car, and he is soon contacted by Anthony Hopkins. And this almost plays in some ways kind of like a Saw movie, sort of. It's not as violent or as tortury or bloody as that, but it just had sort of this weird feeling of Saw to it, because Anthony Hopkins is, of course, trying to teach him a lesson for breaking into the car, and you get all this backstory with him and all this stuff. So he basically essentially tortures the man.
So it's a bait car basically to
That's
to
exactly
catch
it.
a thief so they can torture him.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah.
And this another one, guys, that was just, it was okay. I liked The Woman in the Yard a little bit more than this one. I really had some pretty high expectations for this because of the cast.
Yeah.
I expected
Small
there to
cast.
be more to it, but it just felt sort of repetitive. I think that when you do this one location thing, you kind of
It's
fall
tough.
into this potential trap of it becoming a little bit repetitive, because there is only so much you can do from the inside of an SUV. And they try to vary it up a little bit, but this just, I thought, felt very thin. I thought the motivations for Anthony Hopkins were thin and kind of silly and like I don't know. I was just like, how did y'all
Motivation?
read this and like want to
He
sign
couldn't
on
have
for
just been a
this?
psycho.
Yeah, right. God, no kidding. And he
Make
is
him a
actually
psycho.
for the longest time in the movie too, he is just a voice like that you hear in the car,
Mhm.
like on the phone, basically. But he is in the film as well. And I was happy to see him on screen. I was like, oh, okay, here we go. But ultimately, it just was, I guess, an entertaining enough diversion, but there just isn't a whole lot to it. And I never really found myself all that terribly invested in it. Because I think sometimes on the other side of the coin with the one location thing, you can become very invested in it and they can create an incredibly tense experience if they handle it
Which
properly.
ironically, the movie Lock comes to.
Yeah.
It comes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's a great movie. I love Locke for sure. But this is, I mean, a rent it again. Like, it's not terrible. It's not completely a waste of your time or anything like that. But it just was a bit of a letdown, unfortunately, from the expectations that I had going into it.
Fair enough.
And then finally that night, Chris wanted to see this as well. So after I already sat myself through 2 movies, him and his daughter came and met me, and we all went to see Death of a Unicorn, the new film from A24. And this is directed by Alex Sharfman, starring Jenna Ortega and Paul Rudd. And this is a horror comedy creature feature. And it definitely plays more on the comedic side of things. So basically, a father and daughter are on their way to a wealthy, like not drug, like I mean, like a Pfizer type of drug. You know what I mean? Like,
Pharmacy
family's
people.
house. Yeah, like pharmaceuticals. A pharmaceutical family's house, and on the drive up to this very secluded house, they hit a unicorn, and don't know quite what to do with this. So they end up putting the unicorn in the car, bringing it with them, and hijinks ensue in a major way. Throughout this process, they discover that this unicorn has healing properties. And of course, the rich pharmaceutical people want to harness that power and create drugs basically based off of the healing power of this unicorn.
What could go wrong? Well, something went wrong. I think Chad froze.
Guys, technical issues. Are we back?
No, you're back. Just the way you were frozen.
Oh my God,
You're-
no.
Was it?
A24 put a hit out on me because I'm shitting on their movie. But yeah, this was the biggest disappointment of the day for me, guys. I love A24. I love Jenna Ortega. I love Paul Rudd. I love Will Poulter. I love Taya Leone. I love Richard E. Grant. But
You didn't love
movie,
this movie.
I didn't. It had a few laughs. I thought it tried a little bit too hard with the laughs, and a lot of stuff just talk about feeling repetitive. Like the couple jokes they beat you to death with in this movie really start to feel repetitive to me, and it was just such a wasted opportunity because there are gags throughout this that like really could have led to something amazing. And I don't want to spoil it, I guess, but like there are things that like they could have really done something with here that would have really transformed this into like something really great. And then by the end of it, you're asked to now suddenly like invest emotionally in these characters that are just so thin and have never really been developed much beyond anything other than like a caricature that I just kind of found myself not really caring, unfortunately. It has great ideas.
That's what I heard a lot.
Yeah.
That people were very bored and nobody cared. You need to be more than Paul Rudd, and you need to be more than just the names, I guess. You actually have to act.
Yeah, it just like the characters, they just didn't feel like characters to me. They just felt like it almost felt like an SNL skit at times.
Okay.
And yeah, it just was disappointing. I mean, all the acting is perfectly serviceable and fine. So I don't think it's necessarily their fault. I think this is a writing and a script thing. And yeah, it was a disappointment, man. But I will say Will Poulter, he is the scene stealer in this movie for sure. He's effortlessly funny pretty much every time he's on screen. He is the person who got the most consistent laughs from me. But it just sort of baffles me in a way that this got
Exist.
so much talent interested in it. That's just sort of what was baffling to me, because it just felt so very basic, and there
Was
just
the
was nothing, no
was the
meat.
director the writer as well? Like,
Yes,
okay. See,
and
like,
this is his first film too.
so it almost came off as a the way they were selling it was almost like the guy who did The Lobster and Poor Things.
Yeah,
If it was like a little more of a commercial version of that.
sure. I mean, I think this is definitely a very like commercial friendly movie. Like, I mean, this is something that would play well. It's not like weird, super weird A24 or anything. I mean, the fact that there's unicorns and
That's
people are like
weird.
snorting unicorn horns as
Yes,
like a drug, basically. Like, I mean,
as you
that's
do.
sort of is we, yeah, right, as one does, is a little bit on the weird
As
side,
we
but I think
would.
it's
Mhm.
extremely accessible. And my theater was maybe about half full, somewhere around there.
Okay.
And I mean, it got some laughs and people seemed to like it. Chris seemed to like it more than I did. But overall, I just think I expected more from it. And it just left me a little bit cold and a little bit disappointed. This, I mean, I guess it's like worth your time as a rental or whatever, but this is definitely not something I would go out of my way for. It just was a missed opportunity all around. And sometimes A24 misses, guys. And yeah, this is unfortunately one of those times. So yeah, Death of a Unicorn, watch it at home or whatever, stream it on something you just only have to push play on. Like, don't go out of your way for it, just push play on a Sunday afternoon and call it a day, guys. And then finally, the last thing that I saw, and I know Mr. Coach saw this as well.
Yep.
There's a 4K IMAX re-release of Princess Mononoke out in theaters currently. And I had seen this movie once long ago, like right after it first came out. And I saw the dubbed version, which was really well done, I thought. And I honestly thought that's what I was going into this time. I didn't realize that it was the original language version.
Yeah,
And
honestly, that's what I was saying last week. Was
yeah,
I thought I was going to see the dub version. It was the original, which was awesome.
Yeah, no, I was super thrilled with that for sure. And I mean, I think everybody knows what Princess Mononoke is, about a girl raised by wolves and the warring of factions, basically. And it's beautiful. It was beautiful to see this on such a huge screen. And
and the score was just you could just feel it all the way through your body. But visually stunning.
The
Just
sounds must have been so great.
oh yeah,
Like the cracking.
Did you have a lot of people in
the-
your theater, Coach?
I saw it. It was it was an 11 o'clock at night showing on a Wednesday. So
You watched it last week, right after.
yeah, right.
we
I
recorded,
left
right?
the podcast and
Yeah.
and went right to there. And there was probably 50 people.
Okay.
So like for a Wednesday
Good
night,
showing.
Yeah, that's great.
At 11:30.
at 11:30 at night.
That's pretty good.
I will say, like, I ranted and raved that Regal, we're done. I'm now in the Pat Egan school of where I'm just sneaking everything in now because they have they raised the price on the popcorn and shrunk the size of their smallest one.
Not okay.
Not okay.
Eat shit, Regal. We hate you.
Like, I get it. You want to make a little, like, just give me a ton of popcorn and charge me a ton for it. That's okay.
Yeah.
But like, don't skimp on it.
You don't get to shrinkflate anything, especially since the popcorn costs them
30 cents. Like,
and especially since I bought it at 11 o'clock at night. It wasn't going to somebody going in.
Yeah, give me a break. It's either going to me or the dumpster. So
Yes.
Yeah, and I saw this at 9:30 showing on a Saturday night, and I would say, like, and this is a huge theater. It seats a ton of people. I would say maybe there were close to maybe about 100 people in there. There were quite a few, much more than what I expected.
Yes.
So this is proven to be clearly like a pretty timeless and very popular movie, and
it's a
it
smart
plays.
thing to do. You don't have a lot of IMAX movies coming out at this time of year, basically until all the superhero stuff starts up in
June,
May, whenever.
Yeah, coming.
But basically, like, bring back all this amazing like animated stuff or stuff that should have gotten the original IMAX treatment.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it's just so nice to see something like this, like the beautiful hand drawing, and it just popped. It looks amazing. Like it hits. I think the message still hits. I think the story hits. The score, like you said, it just all hits. And I found myself completely enthralled with this. I'd only seen it one other time. And like I said, that was when it came out, which I think is 96 or 7, something like that.
I think so, yeah.
So I had not seen it in a very long time, and I'm really glad that I went to see it. This was by far of the 4 movies that I saw this week, the best.
The best.
Yeah, the best one without question. And it made me realize when I was leaving there that night, I was like, oh, I need to own this like for my collection so I can watch this again anytime.
It's definitely one you should have.
I will say, however, if you have teens, maybe they're not going to be into it because Chris's daughter who went with us, she's 15. And when the credits rolled on, she was like, oh my God, thank God we can go home now.
Maybe she just didn't like reading.
Yeah.
Is she an anime person?
I don't think so. Not
Okay.
really. So yeah, I think it was maybe the fact that it's not dubbed and it is kind of long. It's over 2 hours for an animated film. And
I will say it took me a while to appreciate and even grow to love Miyazaki.
Miyazaki, yeah.
Miyazaki, yeah.
You know, like I didn't get the first couple when I watched it. I think finally Howl's Moving Castle caught me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what kind of turned me. And then like, what's the ghost one? I forget it. The one with the cat. Which cat bus? Which one's that?
Cat bus?
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I'm trying to remember the two. Who were the biggest Miyazaki ones?
Was it Graves of the Firefly or something?
There's Kiki's Delivery Service. Isn't that one?
No, it's the.
I'm not the most versed in anime.
I know. I'm pulling it up right now. It's Spirited Away.
Spirited Away.
And My Neighbor Totoro were the ones that I just didn't get.
Yeah.
And then like finally Howl's Moving Castle caught me, and then I started going back and really appreciating it.
And Ponyo was weird. They're all weird.
They're all weird.
They're not. None of them are going to make sense. But they are very fun to watch.
Yeah.
You know,
and visually appealing and very just creative across the board. Like some of the animation in this, I know I talked about it. I don't remember if it's on the show or not, but the deer god or whatever in this film, like as he steps through, like, I mean, you see these flowers like growing with every step that he takes. And it's just so fucking cool to look at. And like the visual storytelling of it, I thought was incredible in this. And
absolutely.
A huge recommend. If you haven't seen it for some reason or haven't seen it in a long time, revisit.
Yeah, I think it's still in theaters at least for another week or two.
I'm gonna try and make it.
You know,
yeah, you should.
It's listen. There's only you should not do as much as I support theaters. IMAX is not a weekly thing.
No,
no.
You know that it's for special occasions, and I think this is one of those that it fits.
I think it's worth it.
Yes,
definitely a worthy.
This feels like more of an event than something too.
Alrighty, so I'll take the baton and run with it now. So I'm sorry, did you have any more, Chad?
No, absolutely not.
This is Mr. me juggling.
Coach.
I'm juggling.
Coach Dave, if you're nasty.
I have it and running. Okay. Other than Princess Mononoke, I watched a documentary called We Were Once Kids.
Okay.
Now, this is a documentary about the careers of some of the kids that were in the movie. I'm going to say the word a million times now. Kids from 1995.
Oh,
if you've
Larry
never
Clark's
seen,
Kids.
Larry Clark's Kids. It is often used as like a scared straight thing by a lot of parents and educators. The original Kids, which had Rosario Dawson, Chloe Sevigny, and a lot of like kids acting as themselves in New York in the 90s. And it was basically sex, drugs, and skateboarding, and a very eye-opening thing to like, well, this is what your kids are doing.
Yes. Terrifying.
But sure. There is a dirty side to it where these kids that were, basically elevated to stars were just kind of left to flail in the wind after it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it goes through like the main guy that broke out, Casper, that played the character Casper, ended up hanging himself.
Shit.
Another kid died. Oh, yeah. Another kid died of a heart attack from overdose. Like a lot of the secondary characters, it just didn't work out. they were basically plucked out of the ghetto and out of the street and basically given fame but not fortune. And then as they tried to progress and move through it, they didn't have anybody caring for them. And it was basically like, kids that were kind of used up and thrown away.
Sure.
And it's, and it is really tough to see. And the legacy of that film is there's also a number of guys and kids that did come out of it on the better side.
Okay.
Where one's a social worker, the other kid moved to Amsterdam and does film work. And
okay,
it's very interesting to see the point of view of the non-actresses.
Okay.
Like Chloe Sevigny had a support system of like, you played a really harsh role,
sure,
but it's a role, and now you're protected, and you have agents and managers.
Sure.
Same thing with
she's always taken kind of challenging projects, I think.
I love Chloe Sevigny.
I love her too.
Like the Last Days of Disco is amazing. I loved her. I hate to say it, it's one of those that I always say, like, she's kind of ugly hot. Like, not traditional.
She's unusual.
Yeah, she's not traditional beauty, but I find her extremely attractive. Kind of like Lily, from the old Cusack days. Oh well, Lily, not Thomas, but Lily.
I'm not
sure. Lily.
Lily. We go way fucking back.
Lily.
So
look that up.
Is this on Plex by any chance?
It is. And like I actually found a version of it on YouTube and stuff like that. It wasn't really streaming anywhere. I guess there's questionable rights stuff.
Sure.
But eventually it did. You were able to find it. I mean, the fact that it was on YouTube was actually pretty good.
Because I'm a big fan of that movie. I saw it in high school. I went to a little art house theater in Dayton, Ohio with my best friend. We were still in high school, and we went to see this. And when it was over, we both felt like we had watched the most important movie we had ever seen.
Yes. Like you felt that you've seen something. Lily Taylor.
Okay.
Yeah, you felt like you were a part of the kind of cool kids club.
Well, it felt so real, and it was so terrifying, and just like absolutely, like we were both like, "Oh my god, they should show this at school to everyone," like that kind of stuff.
I had a theology professor that would show that in school.
Oh wow!
like basically, listen, there was kids that were like, no, like their parents weren't going to let them.
Yeah, sure.
But like he actually had like a whole course thing for like high school kids and like parents to watch it as well, and then get together and talk.
Okay.
And he was kind of very progressive for the time, and it was funny. I ended up working at a swimming pool with him, and I always had discussions like, how did you ever? He's like, I grew up in Philly, like back in the day, and it was kind of like that even in the 60s. Like if you go the wrong side of the tracks is the wrong side of the tracks.
Yeah, that's true.
So check out Kids. Check out We Were Once Kids.
Have you seen the movie really quick? Have you seen the movie Bully, directed by Larry Clark? Oh god, that's a lot too.
It is not kids, however, like I really feel for the girl, the lead. Not the secondary lead. She seemed really traumatized by it too. But I mean, the first one, and it does. I think Leo Fitzpatrick is also in that, who is in both movies.
Okay.
Brad Renfro.
Yeah.
Bijou Phillips seemed like that, and the one with Anne Hathaway, Havoc. I think she was in both of those. But the lead, Rachel Miner. I was always like, wow, I don't know how she survived in that.
How she navigated everything.
Yeah,
it's a bleak movie.
Yeah, and it's from the world of kids, basically.
Yeah, it feels very much in the same world.
And then she popped back up on Californication as like the one, secretary, and she had like really lost a lot of weight and like had the heroin sheet going thing.
Okay. Like me. Okay, great.
like all of us, yes.
Okay, right. Yeah, exactly.
And then I caught up on some TV time, and I'm now up to date with the Righteous Gemstones, which is just getting as outrageous as ever.
I've heard nothing but good things about this show.
Yeah, so have I. I've never seen it though.
It is. I mean, it is.
It's got John Goodman.
It's John. Well, listen. The last episode was the kids walking
Okay.
in on John Goodman, performing a mutual act with Nick Offerman's wife. What is
Oh, Megan Mullally.
Megan Mullally, and just the kids being scarred by it.
Okay. Fair enough.
It's so good. It is a whole big thing on like religious barkers and basically that type of thing. And the character of Baby Billy, played by Walter Goggins, is just one of the most amazing characters ever put on TV.
Okay.
I highly recommend it, Chad. It's
funny, right?
It's so absurd. It's so funny, and they're all playing it straight.
Okay.
And it
that makes it even better.
Oh, it's even better.
This is a Max show or HBO, right?
Yes. And that's what I was basically bouncing between this and the newest season of White Lotus.
Okay.
That just doesn't skip a beat. I mean, like, White Lotus is a mystery-based whodunit of year to year in a really high-end place, and at the same time, it's kind of it sticks a big figure at the let's say the more well-to-do of us.
Sure.
Yeah.
And
the ones that they're
rich people bad.
Yes.
Not rich people bad, but rich people aren't flawless.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
I think that's more. They're not trying to take anybody down a peg or anything, but it's just like there's no comeuppance, but there's just circumstance that it doesn't matter how much money you have. If you act a certain way, shit's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I like that.
I like that sometimes.
There's no entrapment or anything but like, hey, you know what? Asshole is as asshole does. And
right.
Listen, you cheat on your wife if you are poor or rich, you're an asshole.
And there's circumstances that'll bite you in the ass.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, well, if you do, shady shit, eventually it comes to light.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, it depends what you want. You want comedy, go right to Gemstones. You want, White Lotus is a good murder mystery. And I just finished up the Mushroom Show that Carly and I will discuss in the length next week.
Yes. I look forward to hearing about that.
Yeah, I mean, like it's the Mushroom Show is secretly one of my top shows of the year so far.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wait, it's called the Mushroom Show? Wait. What?
No, it's Common Side Effects.
Oh yeah. Okay.
It's just so different than anything out there.
Okay.
But
I'm
it's
always into that.
And it's the people it goes after is really interesting.
Okay.
Nice.
Sold, man. Anything else new for you this week, Mr. Coach?
Nope, not right now.
Okay, that was it. All right, so we're going to move on to Mr. Brad from
the baton is mine.
Canada. Yes, sir.
Well, I wanted to go see Locked, but no, that didn't play here.
This is a recurring theme here on the Scene Invaders podcast, guys, where Canada gets nothing.
Sad. It's so fucking sad.
Nothing in like it, Spalding.
That's pretty much it. But no, Princess Mononoke was playing in IMAX. Unfortunately, I missed that. So I sat on my ass and watched some TV. But one thing, speaking of movies that don't play around here, I watched a movie called The Old Guy. Now, before I go into it, I saw the commercial for it, or trailer, whatever you want, on social media, and it looked really cool. It said coming out, yada yada yada. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna keep an eye out for that. I like the cast, which is oh my god, Christoph Waltz and Cooper Hoffman.
Okay.
Two actors I really enjoy. Lucy Liu.
Sure. Love her.
Man, Cooper Hoffman's good. He's not the best or anything like that, but he's just really fucking good.
It's just creepy. Well, listen, I agree. And listen, has charisma. He has stage presence. It's a little creepy though sometimes
It
because
can, because you get hints and flashes and flickers of
his dad, and
what
it's so
could have been, but I mean, he is definitely carving out his own space. I mean, but yeah, so thing got me is I was looking for this to go see it in the theater because hey, it's about hitmen, and that's my
Sure.
jam.
I like it too.
And then as I'm perusing through the movie channels, it was available to stream.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, wait a minute. This is not the first time this has happened
Mm-hmm.
for movies to say that they're going to be in the theater and then they just don't.
Sure.
Or
Or their theater run was literally like one weekend.
or one showing, maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't understand if you're going to go straight to stream, do it. It almost looks like a lack of faith if they say, yes, it's a theater release. No, it's not. I mean, Warner Brothers is pretty famous for that.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't you're blanked out, Coach? Can't hear you.
Black Bag was just put on via last night.
Yes. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, Black Bag available. And again, through social media, you have the 2 stars saying, hey, watch Black Bag at home.
Mhm.
And it's in the theater. So I'm like, well, yeah, well, what?
Yeah.
I don't understand the model anymore.
I don't get it either.
Well, that's
I mean,
AMC. The CEO of AMC just came out today that they're trying to negotiate a solid 45-day window
Okay. I think that's very reasonable.
of basically like once something comes out nationwide, not like we should in New York. Once
Yeah.
it hits the masses, that's when it would go to
Sure.
45 days afterwards.
Well, because we're getting a week, 10 days.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Not
Yeah, no
even-
shit.
Not
It's
even
crazy.
not even a shot at theater. And I love going to the theater.
Mhm.
And I would have liked to see this movie in the theater.
Mm-hmm.
It, like I said, it stars Christoph Waltz as an aging hitman, and not his replacement, but just a younger hitman that he is to observe, not
Okay.
train, just observe. He takes it along a little more that he should be training him because the kid is a really, really good shot. He's very cold. He's very calculated. He's very precise, but he doesn't know how to socialize. It's not that awkward bullshit like he can't talk to girls or anything like that.
Okay, right.
But he's just he does not have the flair to do things that the aging hitman Christoph Waltz does, like to get in places, to move stuff. So he's a good trigger man, but that's all he is.
Mhm.
Antics ensue. Christoph Waltz is always charming as hell. Cooper Hoffman, like I said, he pulls off almost damaged, but not sad, if that makes sense. And Christoph Waltz, it suffers no fools, in this. But like I said, he's charming. So and I was kind of surprised that an actor of his caliber took this role. It's a good role. He makes it well, but I don't know. I just think that he's better than this, if that makes sense, without trying to say that, what are you doing? Because you're going to take work where you're going to take work. But I mean, before this, I was watching like Django Unchained.
Mhm.
It just popped on. I watched it and I was enthralled by him. And then I was watching the Daniel Craig James Bond movies.
Mm-hmm.
And he is amazing in those as well. And it just looked almost less than. But
Okay.
He also seemed like he took a lot of stuff just for the check, and rightfully so. Listen, he's been a working actor forever and never really been until he's in his 50s. But it was like the Green Hornet, and there was a time he was the Michael Caine of he was the new Michael Caine.
Okay.
Yes, he really was. Yeah, but the old guy is definitely a buy for me. It was
okay.
It was something. I'm looking forward to watching it again, just because it wasn't too big or flashy, but it just looked very real.
Okay.
And it was fun.
Sometimes that's what you need, man. I
Yeah.
love shit like that.
Yeah, it wasn't John Wick or Jason Bourne or anything like that, but it was just it was cool. It was good. It was a good movie.
Oh my God, it's Jason Bourne.
Too boring. And the other one I watched was oh shoot, I can never remember his name. Well, it's Mobland, Paramount, with Tom Hardy. Damn it, I can never remember his name. And Pierce Brosnan, and it is English mafia stuff.
Okay.
I don't want to ruin it because there is some pretty good intrigue. You
Okay.
have Pierce Brosnan, who is the granddaddy of his side of the mob versus
Mhm.
the other side of the mob. They're trying to get into fentanyl, and they have their kids and grandkids. And you have Tom Hardy, who is basically the fixer, as of course he is.
As he should be.
As he should be. And everybody plays their role really, really well. But one of like the things, I know everyone loves Tom Hardy. I think he's a good actor. I don't think he's a great actor.
Mhm.
In all the things I've seen him in, I'm not mad that he's an actor. Like I don't
Sure.
avoid things when it's him. Fuck it,
Right.
But
Abort.
I don't understand the mass appeal. Perhaps.
I think for me with him, it's I can tell when he gives a shit.
Mhm.
So like when he's showing up to Peaky Blinders, yes, he is killing the screen. When he shows up to Inception, when he's showing up to Venom,
okay, right. Paycheck movie, real quick.
Right.
But I mean, like, he's not the reason I went to see the Bike Riders. I went to see the Bike Riders.
I thought he was great in the Bike Riders,
and he was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
The weird voice and
he cared.
Yeah, definitely.
He cared.
Yeah, it's funny. One of my favorites, Layer Cake. He is like one of the first ones he's in, and he looks like a baby.
Oh, I know. Looks just like an absolute child.
Okay.
And the other part is you have Pierce Brosnan, who is, God damn, I love him so much.
Yeah,
like he is a truly amazing actor.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of James Bond, even though they weren't the best movies, he was a good Bond.
Mm-hmm.
But what I love about this is his wife is in on everything. It's not a boys' club. It's not like, no, men over here. You women folk, you over there. This is mafia stuff. Fuck off.
His wife played by?
Is it
Helen Mirren?
Helen Mirren.
Oh, hell yeah. I love her.
Yeah. The two of them on screen, the chemistry is amazing. But one of the greatest things is, okay, small spoiler, they might be needing to kill somebody.
Okay. Maybe.
And he's on the phone. And he's like, well, if we're going to take the shot, we should take the shot. And he's like, yeah, all right. Hi, love. What do you think? Sick a twist. And she's like, sick. And he's like, is sick kill? He's like, no, twist is kill. And he's like, oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let him live.
Okay. Right there.
I just like how but it's not played off so comedic. It's there's heavy and there's real, but I like the fact that he respects his wife enough for her opinion, and she plays in on it, and he plays in on it, and Tom Hardy, he's definitely taking care of stuff, and he looks like he gives a shit.
Did you see who the creator of this was?
No.
So it's Ronan Bennett, who did The Jackal.
No shit.
Yep. So he did The Day of the Jackal. He is the creator of both Mobland and the writer-creator of Mobland and Day of the Jackal.
Okay. Oh, well, that might be the reason I like it so much, because I love Day of the Jackal. My God, I love that so much.
Yeah, so I was curious. I'm like, I wonder,
you know what? I'm the worst at all of this. I didn't even know. I'm pretty sure his name might be Tom Hardy.
Okay, right. I can be really mad about that stuff too.
No, honestly, I blame it on not being smart, or maybe too many concussions. But I actually force this because I don't want to see Tom Hardy on screen. I want to get lost in the acting, and I feel bad when I call the and Pierce Brosnan was talking to Helen Mirren, because they actually have character names, but I can't remember. But that is my favorite, is to absolutely get lost in a story when the acting is done that well. Thank you, Mr. Kilmer. You did that very well.
And I'm not saying
these guys do it too.
That came off the top of my head. I mean, like when you guys talk about movies, I'm just click, and just like, okay, there's that. And I'm like, okay, I can.
Well, this is kind of an entertainment podcast. We might want to highlight some of these things.
Yeah, real. Yeah, Coach, you're a lifesaver.
We're just kind of fucking around.
He's on it, bro.
But yeah, I mean, if you do enjoy mob tales, this might be a little different because it's not the Italian mob, it's not the Russian mob, it's the English mob.
Sure.
Not so charming and quippy as, like, say, Snatch or Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, but there is definitely weight and some depth to this.
It gave me a little bit of The Gentleman vibes, especially how the patriarch of the family interact with each other.
And that was just one of the better parts.
Yeah.
But everything's been really good. You got like asshole kids, but like things are treated almost the way they should be. Nothing is too gregarious or outrageous just for the sake of it. They're not doing for a body count or a blood splatter just to tell a story.
I mean, the good thing is that it's made. Like, that's the good thing. The bad thing is it's on Paramount, and it's it's not being seen as if it were on the Hulus or the
Paramount's a good station, but it is very swept under the rug a lot.
Sure.
Yeah,
I think so too.
So yeah, nothing beyond that. I mean, I buy for both of them. I was really happy I gave these my time.
Good. That's always the best feeling, man, because we only have so much of it, and it sucks when you've.
No kidding.
I never feel like I've completely wasted my time on something, even something I really dislike. I still.
Did you watch Popeye the Slayer, man?
Getting to experience it, but man, what'd you say?
Did you watch Popeye the Slayer, man?
Okay, no, not yet. I need to. Oh my god!
In case you need to waste some time.
Okay, I mean, there are movies for sure, but it's rare. Like even.
I wasn't expecting anything out of Popeye the Slayer, man. I'm not gonna lie about that.
Okay, facts.
Good times had by most.
All right, and as we alluded to earlier in the show, guys, we're going to talk about. We brought this up actually as some of our favorite or least favorite remakes, and I think everybody decided to keep it more on the positive side and talk about some of our favorite remakes. Oh, okay. I thought about doing an honorable mention of like a bad one, but I kept mine all positive.
Cool.
But Miss Carly, who is missing tonight, always puts out on Twitter what our plans are for the show to get some reactions from people on the Twitter. So we are going to look at some of those now and shout out some Twitter homies and see what some of their favorite remakes are. So yeah, of course, we know who made this one because it's black and red, guys.
Black and red is my favorite.
Or X,
color,
I guess. If you insist on calling it X or whatever, but
call it Twix.
It's always going to be Twitter to me. Shout outs. So we have El Senor de los Memes at Ultimo Legend, who is a great Twitter follow, guys. I highly recommend. He had a list, man, and he says The Fly, Little Shop of Horrors, The Departed, Heat, The Mummy from 99, 310 to Yuma, It, The Crazies, True Grit, Cape Fear, and King Kong 2005. It's a heck of a list and a pretty solid list, I would say. Yep. Hell yeah.
And you got Heat on there, The Fly, which remains my scariest movie I've ever seen.
Okay. It's a great movie.
Silly, but it's the scariest movie I've ever damn seen.
And there were a number of people who mentioned this one too. Mentioned The Fly.
I will say that I forgot that The Departed was a Korean movie to start with. So shame on me, because I think I would have rocketed its way up into my top 3.
Yeah. Okay. And I didn't know Heat was a remake, honestly.
I didn't either. I didn't either. I think they said it's a remake of Michael Mann's own work.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't know. That's why I didn't put it.
Mhm.
On
I
mine,
didn't think.
Well, I also saw the Michael Mann. He wrote a sequel that might be in production.
it is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Austin Butler is the lead.
Austin, it moved Butler.
Austin and Moved Butler.
Well, I listened to the audiobook of the sequel, and if that is the story they're going with, I'm in.
Mhm.
Okay.
Like, I'm really in. I'm in anyway. It's got Austin Butler.
Yeah,
in it.
right, real.
Shut up.
Then we also have Mark at Mark D975 who says, to me, it's criminal this movie isn't more lauded. Absolutely genius horror from the directing, makeup, cinematography, acting, suspense, tension in my top 10. And he is referring to the film The Crazies.
Nice.
Very solid. It's a great movie. I highly recommend, guys.
Looks
All right.
scary.
Next, we got Snowblind at @O_Snowblind on Twitter. Usually hate remakes, but Dawn of the Dead 2004 was a lot of fun, and
Mhm.
I completely agree with that. It was one when I saw it that I expected nothing from, and like from the first 5 minutes of it, you're gripped to this bitch, and it's very good. I really like
Yeah,
this
it was
movie
a
a lot.
better one. It was a better one.
I don't know if I would say it's better, but
No, I mean,
is
it
a
was
very
one of the better
solid.
remakes, is what I meant.
Yeah, it's a solid remake for sure. Very, very good. And Mr. R.P. Lewis at Mr. R.P. Lewis. Steven Soderbergh's Solaris 2002 is a remake of a Russian movie of the same name from 1972.
Mhm.
Solaris is a slow burn psychological mystery wrapped in a grief-stricken love story. The movie is light on dialogue, so the incredibly talented cast have a lot of scenes where they emote while Cliff Martinez's progressive score plays in the foreground. The music is so powerful, it's practically a character of its own. I did not realize that this was even a remake. So
No.
good to
I'm
know.
not good at this at all.
And Mr. Lewis is another certified good people. He's
Very good people.
And finally, I should say, okay, learn to speak. Good Lord. It's been a lot going on lately, guys. All right. We have Black Powder Johnny at Jedi Nightwing 1 on Twitter. John Carpenter's The
I'm
Thing.
following that just because Jedi Nightwing are two of my favorite.
Okay, right? There you go. A Fistful of Dollars if you look at it as a Yohimbo remake, and The Mummy, Brendan Fraser. And then we have Best Horror Movie Ever, of course, referring to The Thing. And then, and that's from Anarchy Up Your Anus. And sadly, I cut off his @ on here, guys. I'll put it in the description of the audio and the video, but that was my fuck up on this. And then we have Ragged Comics at _Raggedy Man saying The Thing. So The Thing was one that definitely kept coming up over and over.
Yeah,
And it's always well regarded as like one of the top remakes, some of people's favorite film of all time, favorite horror film of all time. So yeah, absolutely a solid choice. You can't go wrong with The Thing, guys. It's amazing.
Heck no.
All right, so we're going to remove that. And then, even though Carly could not be here tonight, she was very sad to miss out on this topic because she had a lot of thoughts here. So she did send in slides for us to share on her behalf. So we're going to bring up the iconic Carly slides colors. Oh,
Beautiful.
I love it. It makes me happy.
It does.
I'm going to assume she probably has honorable mentions here. She seems to always have that. So we do have honorable mentions. We've got The Blob, Ocean's 11, 3:10 to Yuma, The Fly, Dread, which almost ended up on my list, guys. And I sadly cannot tell what that one is between Ocean's 11 and The Fly because
Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Okay, gotcha. So I have crap covering that one. So yeah, super solid honorable mentions and all good movies for sure. So
The Fly. God damn it, I'm so scared.
The Fly, man, it's so good for sure.
I know. I love Jeff Goldblum and everything like that, but he was absolutely terrifying in it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a very long time. So this
It
is
was on the
definitely
other day. I was watching it. And
okay.
I'm scared.
Especially
scared.
After The Substance last year and like body horror and stuff. Like The Fly kept coming up a bunch because of the discussion around that movie. So it put it back on my radar and as something I definitely need to watch again soon. So, all right, it looks like we're moving on to her next one, which is going to be The Crazies. Okay, as mentioned in the Twitter shout outs, this is an incredible movie, guys. If you're not a horror fan, don't watch The Crazies, guys. But this is indeed a very good movie. And
I never saw
seems
it.
to be beloved by a lot of people.
Never saw it. I see a guy with a pitchfork and everybody else with guns, and yet the guy with the pitchfork seems to be standing still.
Yeah, it's a very interesting sort of take on like zombie movies, basically.
Okay,
And
it is a zombie thing.
yeah, and
Okay.
I mean, that's essentially what it is.
I don't know.
But they're
Crazy
like the
people are-
fast zombies, so it's a little bit different than kind of the slow moving like Walking Dead-esque zombies.
Okay.
So it creates a lot of tension and it's intense and it's good, man. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I need to watch this again very soon.
I'll check this out.
Yeah. Oh, it's good. Yeah, for sure. It's crazy as hell. All right. So the
Pun
next
intended.
one. Okay, right. Oh, yeah. Okay, real.
It's the crazies. That's hell.
Okay, the crazies as hell, guys. All right. The next one we have Dawn of the Dead. And yeah, agreed, man.
Mhm.
I didn't look through her list. I didn't realize she was going to have so much crossover with the Twitter shoutouts. But yeah, this
Oh,
is an
that's good.
incredibly good movie.
Yeah, that was a good movie. The Mall. I hate the
It was
Mall.
basically the birth of Zack Snyder, right?
Pretty much,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. This is everyone thought he could do no wrong after that.
Yeah, right. Well,
He
Proved
did.
it wrong.
we know better now. No, I'm just kidding.
He's done some wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
little
Everybody
here,
does
little
wrong.
there.
Yeah. Slow-mo wheat cutting.
Okay, right, God. I
don't care.
More slow-mo wheat cutting.
If the movie was the greatest movie in the world, it's going to be called Slow-mo wheat cutting.
That's what part 3 is going to be called. Oh my God, help.
Can't wait.
All right, and it looks like her final choice is going to be The
The Thing. Of
And I had a
course.
feeling this was going to be on there. I think she has referenced it as one of her favorite movies of all time. So I'm not surprised to see this here.
This is peak Kurt Russell, though, man. Look at him.
Mm-hmm.
Look at him.
What's
He's
interesting
like-
about this is when this came out, it was like critically panned.
Oh, they
Yeah,
hated it.
basically.
They hated it.
And now it's like beloved and like held up as like one of the great horror films of all time. So
Well,
this is
take a
one I have
step
not seen
back.
in quite a number of years. So
You know,
I need
take
to.
a step back and appreciate a story they're telling.
Yeah.
Like, not everything has to be a satirical wonder. It does
Yeah.
not have to be social commentary. Sometimes
Right.
it can just be about something growing in the ice and a dude with a flamethrower.
Yep.
Like, so
I need a
chill and smile.
flamethrower.
And I think this
Go on.
has definitely been elevated over the years.
Mhm.
Like I don't think it was the original intention of John Carpenter to be like a satirical look on this
Yeah,
or that or anything like that. Where now it can be 20 different poli sci major,
Sure.
themes.
Everything's applicable if you look at it through the right lens.
Right. What's the saying? Like everything's a nail if you're a hammer.
Yeah, right. There it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, excellent choices from Miss Carly. We definitely miss her this
Mhm.
week, but from what I understand, she should be back next week. So
So we
look
don't
forward
have to be.
seeing her again. Okay, right.
She'll
We'll have
be
at
in
least some
solo.
beauty on this podcast instead of these 3 hairy beasts. Like,
kidding. I'm not hairy. I'm smooth like a seal.
You're smooth like a seal.
Or a
Yes, you are,
narwhal.
sir. Okay. Right. All right, so that brings us to me, guys, and I like horror, guys. So
Chad.
I kept mine, of course, all in horror. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like these are the best remakes ever made, but I just wanted to pick 3 things that I really like. And I
Oh, yeah.
really tried to choose things that are not like the constant 10 that you hear, basically. So I tried to be a little bit different, of course, with this. And again, I'm not saying these are the best movies ever made, but I think they are very solid remakes.
Stop qualifying. What do you got?
Right. And then I didn't do honorable mentions, guys. So my first one is going to be The Invisible Man from
Ooh.
2020, director Lee Wanell. I had no expectation for this movie. I don't even remember this lady's name. She's that Scientology bitch. I forget
Elizabeth
her name.
Moss.
Yes, and she's like in The Handmaid's Tale and all that shit. But this is such an interesting and well made and well done update to the Invisible Man story. It truly modernizes this and makes it. The Invisible Man has always had like a depth to it in a way, but I think this gives it this depth that I think is kind of more important toward women in a way, and like being believed as women and gaslit as women and that kind of stuff. And I think it's extremely well done. And it is, like I said, very modernized. It's an interesting way to look at this story and how this woman is basically not, I don't want to say tortured, but like she is haunted by
Tormented.
Yeah, tormented. That's a good one. By an ex that is a not so great man, and it's incredibly effective. This came out right before COVID. I remember going to the theater to see this. This was one of the last things I saw in theaters before like theaters kind of stopped being a thing for a minute. So I think it sort of maybe got lost a little bit in that COVID pandemonium and shit. But I do think a number of people, like probably a lot of people have seen this, but I think it probably missed out on some of the love it deserves.
It
because of
redeemed the
everything.
character that was sullied by the movie Hollow Man.
Yes. Oh God, real facts.
Hollow Man.
Yeah, this has like, I mean, there's one scene in this. I'm not going to spoil it if you haven't seen it, but there is a scene in this that I was so shook by. I was so shocked. I was like, holy fuck, they're going hard in this movie, and it takes place in a restaurant. If you know, you know. But yeah, this is a great one, man. Highly, highly recommended. And this is why something like Wolfman from director Lee Wanell, because he also directed Upgrade, which I think is great.
Great.
And then Wolfman, which I had high expectations for because of this and shit like Upgrade, and it sucked. I was mad. So yeah.
Carly just like messaged us in that she suffered through it. Much like
that's kind of a good word for it, I would say. Good word for it. So my next slide, guys, we have It 2017, directed by Andy Muschietti.
Yeah.
A lot of people have nostalgia for the It miniseries that played on television. And I have some nostalgia for it as well. But when this film came out, I am not talking about It Part 2, by the way. This is It, the first part, the first movie. It blew me away. It's great. It's so good. It's scary. It's fun. It's funny. It's fucked up. It's well done. It's well made. You could tell there was a lot of love in it.
It's one of the things that actually remakes can do right, which is fix the problems that they had in the past. You know what I mean? Like Stephen King is often lukewarm on when his stuff goes to film. Sure. And he praised the second one or the remake about how they got it right.
Yeah, it's extremely well done. And it gave me high expectations for It Part 2, which, I mean, in the miniseries too, it wasn't very successful. I thought It Part 2 also was not very successful. It's a huge, huge, huge step down from this, but I do think that unfortunately is the source material here and what they're working with.
Right.
It's just not as compelling. And I mean, there's a lot of like CGI and stuff in this movie, but it becomes egregious and just entirely too much in the second one. But this one is incredibly effective and it's creepy. And Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise, I mean, he just absolutely
the makeup was really great.
Oh, he's just phenomenal in this.
Do you guys want to hear a fun fact about It Part 2?
Yes, sir.
You know the Paul Bunyan that he was sitting on? Yeah, I made that.
What?
My company.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we made that.
Oh, yeah, dude.
I welded the frame for Paul Bunyan, and the 3D department built everything around it. So yeah.
Did you know it was going to be for a movie, or was it just for the place?
We were told it was for a movie.
But, okay.
We weren't told what movie.
Okay.
Or anything like that. And we were not allowed to. We had to sign NDAs. For our company, not Hollywood, like
right.
Discretionary that we couldn't take pictures, we couldn't do anything. But I welded up the frame for the inside of
that. Is so dope. Oh my god,
that he's had on.
You heard it here first, guys. Mr. Brad from Canada has backstage knowledge of the movie industry.
Yes, of the poor sequel.
Yeah. Yep, that's Hollywood Brad. That's the Hollywood Brad minute.
Yeah, and what sucks too is that the sequel, like it starts off amazing. Like the opening sequence of the sequel is incredible, and I was like, "Yes, we are about this movie about to fuck so hard," and then it just doesn't. Unfortunately, I didn't love it, but this one excellent and definitely worth watching again if you haven't seen it. If you have not seen it in a while,
start with this movie,
and if you haven't seen it, watch it, guys. It's so good. The next one might be a controversial take, and I have to admit. The first time that I saw this, I fucking hated it. I hated it because I love the original so much. but something nagged at me to watch it again. And after that second viewing on, I came to really, really appreciate this movie. And that is
Mamma Mia.
the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake from 2002, directed by Marcus Nispel.
Really?
Okay.
I hated it so much the first time that I saw it because it is tonally so different than the first one, or the original, I should say. The original is a bit of like a slow burn kind of. It's more psychological, and it wants to like burrow itself under your skin, whereas this one's much more in your face. It's more intense, tense, like, and it just something about it just didn't sit right with me that first time. But then after like kind of like getting over my own bullshit and enjoying it a second time, I was like, okay, this movie is actually pretty amazing. I think you can tell that there is a lot of love for the original in this one, and they really did try to stay as true to it as they could while also like doing something just a bit different with it. This movie really is like breathlessly tense and like a arm grasper, like I mean grasping the arm of like your chair and all that kind of stuff. And it really is just so much. It's a lot. And by the time it's over, you're just exhausted by it. And R. Lee Ermey in this film is just one of, I think, the great villains in horror cinema. Like, he is so effective in this and so squirmy and skin crawly and awful and horrible and mean and and all of that. But yeah, this is, to me, I think one of the great horror remakes or remakes in general. And again, I think that might be controversial. I'm sure there are people who hate this because the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is such a beloved film, but it is also beloved by me, guys. It's one of my favorite horror films of all time. But I think this sequel is incredible. Remake is incredibly solid. So
choices.
Those were my offerings, y'all.
Very good.
And with that, we move on to Mr. Coach.
Remakes.
I didn't give anything for me this week, so
I like it. I think it looks really nice, actually.
I like it. Look at that man
Hey, it's
walking
spelled
away,
remakes, right, dog? So
yeah, it
you can't
does.
really
That's
ask
all
for
that
a lot.
matters. Yes,
walking away from the camera. That's beautiful.
yes, it's a remake of The Searchers.
And there's 75 legs on that camera.
Do you have honorable mentions, sir?
Kind of.
Okay. All right. Ready for the first one?
Sure.
All right.
Does this count as
Okay.
a remake?
Sure.
So
A reimagining?
it's a reimagining, but it's in the original Shakespeare. So it does the
I love this movie.
I love this movie too. And
Yeah, I love it.
I left it off my list because I didn't know if it met the requirements.
I like that. Does this count at the top?
Yeah, does this count? Beautiful.
Like,
for me, it counts, I think.
Yeah, because it's like there was the original. There has been a movie with the original Old English, and
so yeah,
it could be.
It counts.
Yeah, well, then we'll leave it as an honorable mention.
Yeah, I'm a Baz Luhrmann fan. Though. Like, I pretty much have liked most of his movies. I just like his unconventional take on things. So
to me, this was where I fell in love with Baz Luhrmann, and it's been a steady decline for me ever since. Like, this is what I wanted more of this. I like, do it, Hamlet, do anything. Like, yeah, but when we kind of did Moulin Rouge and it was more of the modern music and all that, and
yeah, that still hurts.
Modern Moulin Rouge just is a step down to me than what Romeo and Juliet is.
I was just talking about this the other night. Is The Great Gatsby Baz
That
Luhrmann?
is Baz Luhrmann.
That's one that I have not seen somehow.
And I really like the Great Gatsby. I even though I like done from the perspective of the book through the narrator is a little tough for me. Like, it's cinematically not as great as it is as a novel.
Okay. Fair enough.
All right. We can go on to the next one.
On to the next.
My number 3 would be Dread.
I was so close to this one, guys. I thought about it.
I just, it did everything right that the first one did wrong, and that's kind of like some of the things that I looked into this was like, was there an improvement? Was there, you can change the story, you can change things around, but does it make it better?
Sure.
True.
And just the grittiness of this, that doesn't
The
take
more
off
serious
the helmet.
tone.
Yeah, it's not a vehicle for a star, it's a star vehicle.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, Judge Dredd with Stallone and everything was a superhero movie.
Right.
Mhm.
Dredd was a graphic novel movie.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yes.
You
It
know?
is in the line of, like, I would go Dread, Sin City, 300,
Yes.
like
Mhm.
you're almost straight off the page
Yeah.
graphic novel.
Yeah. Watchmen
Sure.
and the rest. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
All
great
right.
choice there.
Great
We
choice.
can go to the next.
All right.
So we have
I
Scarface.
saw this
which-
come up a lot in the Twitter comments too.
and the thing is, the original Scarface is not a bad movie. It's actually pretty good. I mean,
Great movie.
Scorsese is very like, as an influence of like old school gangsters films, is pretty good.
Mm.
But the way that De Palma changes and flips the entire story of, it's an immigrant's tale, and then it is just someone who, he is
Took power.
Yeah, took power. He is a former military guy. Like, all the things of like, well, how'd this guy become who he is? Well, yeah, it's all kind of written there.
And he was kind of born to be who he became.
Exactly. And the tragedy of just wanting everything but never happy with what you have, and just he is a walking id. Like, he is just,
Yeah.
and it's De Palma just being, it's peak De Palma, and it's
Yeah.
It
peak
really is.
filmmaking.
Absolutely.
All right, and then my number
Scarface.
one.
All right, here we go, guys. I saw this one
I
come up a couple times.
love Little Shop of Horrors, and I
Mhm.
love what Frank Oz did with it.
Hmm.
The original, is it Harvey Korman? Not Harvey Korman. Roger Corman. Like, it's very dated. It's very dark. It's very. It's not exactly great, but that's basically, it's almost like some of these remakes. You have the Mel Brooks thing with the producers, where it goes, play
Off the rails.
musical, play musical,
Mhm.
and or Hairspray, where it keeps going back and forth until they've developed it.
Yeah.
Hairspray went from real to musical, and then to musical again.
Who played Audrey in the remake?
Ellen Green, who was, I believe,
Okay.
in the original as well.
Okay.
I don't know.
Or no, she did it originally on stage, and she is
Wonderful.
So, oh my gosh, like, she just nails it. And the little cameos, of course, Steve Martin as the dentist has the iconic song. You
Mhm.
have John Candy, you have James Belushi, not Jim. Like, you have all these guys that pop in and out of it, and it's just so
Bill Murray, for God's
playful.
sakes.
Bill Murray, yeah, like Bill Murray, just for some reason, just let's just have him come in. He's a masochistic.
Playing the masochistic.
Yes.
So good.
And it plays with some serious taboos, as well as like poverty, Skid Row, getting out of Skid Row.
Sure.
Like, how many, is it worth it? Is it like, how many people do you need to kill to get out above?
Right.
I'm a big fan of the director's cut, which is a sadder ending, but it is what it is.
Sure.
But the music, I still have some of these just playing, on my phone in my car all the time.
That's awesome.
Sure.
Suddenly Seymour is just so good, and I love that there's a revival now on Broadway, or off Broadway. Excuse me.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard about this recently because of Chris. So yeah,
Have you ever seen this?
I've seen the movie, but not
Okay.
a stage
Not
show.
the stage show, yeah.
Mhm.
It's one of those, like, teenage. It's one of those, like, the guys wanted to do this. Like, all the girls always wanted to do Grease.
Mhm.
All the guys always wanted to do Rocky Horror, because it was like who gets to be the
weird.
plant? Yeah, who gets to be
Okay,
the
right.
plant? Who gets to be Seymour?
Yeah.
That's cool.
All right.
Well
Mr.
done. Good
Coach.
choices.
Yes,
There we go.
absolutely, sir. All right. And then last but most certainly not least is Mr. Brad from Canada. And let's see what cover art he has for us tonight. Everybody else's is exciting. Mine's red and black. Oh, this feels very Bradcore.
Well, it's somebody remaking movies.
I love it.
I think your hairline is a lot better than this Jones.
It really is. It really is. And
You
I
have all the hair, sir. All of it.
but look at how angry he is.
Okay, right.
This
He's
is-
just intense.
Well, I mean, if you're collecting reels,
Well, he is collecting reels, and I don't know what that is out the window.
I was going to say it looks like a mutated maple leaf.
Yeah, or it's some origami or something, but yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Do you have honorable mentions, sir?
I do, but I went a different way. So
Okay. All right.
pop them up. These are honorable mentions.
I'm surprised the crow's not on here. Like,
just don't you fucking dare. These were just awful. These were awful. Rollerball. My God. How can you go wrong when you have LL Cool J? Well, they went wrong. Jacob's Ladder. Just, you can't make Jacob's Ladder cool.
I didn't realize that there was a remake of Jacob's Ladder.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, you're like, keep it that way, homie.
No, they changed everything. They tried to make it cool, and I think they just really liked the title Jacob's Ladder because it sounded cool. And the Pink Panther. Now, I love Kevin Kline, I love Steve Martin, and I do love Beyonce, but this, what are you doing?
It just doesn't.
The original Pink Panther was genius. So I know you're just trying to take another bite at the apple and stuff, but come on, just stop it.
That was 100% him trying to like, oh, I'm the modern day Peter Sellers.
I can do Peter Sellers.
No, you're not.
No, you're not. You're not. You're Steve Martin, and that's enough.
Yes.
Right.
You don't have to try and emulate somebody when you are already somebody. So yeah, my honorable mentions are just horrible remakes, and just don't even do it. You need. Yeah.
I almost said the same thing, man, but
you went positive.
Alas.
So we can go on to my numero 3.
Here we go. Okay. I like this movie, actually. Yeah.
Now, yes, I really did enjoy the original. I liked the story because I was a child. And my imagination was enough to allow certain things that really none of this makes sense because it's a movie, but the stop animation and stuff, it just did not really work. Now, when I heard that they're making a new one, I thought, well, why? Because the original was okay, but I thought, you know what? What can they do with a great story and a great budget? And I know this movie got panned by a lot of people. A lot of people didn't like it. But if you watch it now and just appreciate what they did, the acting is pretty amazing. Everyone knows the story. But I never want to say the effects should sell a movie, but the effects really sold this movie. They made the monsters plausible. I mean, you have Ray Fiennes as Hades, and his visage it looks like he's dripping smoke. The cloak that he's wearing, and you have Liam as Zeus, and looking all like just perfect and glittery, and not vampire glittery, just godlike. And the Kraken itself, just the size of it compared to what it was in the original film, it just looked like a big guy. But and this one, they just made it stories and stories and stories huge. So I really, really enjoyed this one as far as a remake goes. I thought this was not like a sacrilege or anything. I thought it was a worthy remake.
My late partner Rick actually really loved this movie, and I had not seen it. And He mentioned it one night, so he ended up renting it or whatever for us, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was quite entertaining, and yeah,
It's
I
got
enjoyed it
Mad
quite a bit.
Mickles in it, man.
Yeah, right.
He's awesome. And it's got that guy that's been in everything, like in Deadpool, and he was in freaking. He was the remake of the Transporter.
hmm
I forget his name, but he was just a young kid in it. But that's how big a fan I have of him. Yes.
There it
On
is.
this one.
Right. You
So
come
we can
here
go.
for your movie knowledge and facts.
Yeah. Like I said, I get lost in the movies. No, so I'm just
Yeah,
not that
same.
smart. So we can go on to number 2.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, it might be
Crossover. Dreams are
a
crossing, guys.
bit of a crossover, but come on, Scarface.
Mhm.
Scarface, which was panned by critics. And half the critics, I don't even think they knew it was a remake. They just didn't like it for whatever reason.
Sure.
But it only Scarface only really began to get traction as far as the remake when hip hop artists and rappers started to really embrace it. And then, well,
Sure.
hip hop and rappers were cool. So that's when everyone started watching it. And
Sure.
I just remember watching this with friends and, just bowling over at Al Pacino being Tony Montana before he was cool. And he just, like you said, this is a guy that was destined to be what he was. And the original was fun too, just not as intense. But how could you be?
Yeah, for sure. And I think this and like something like this and like The Thing are great examples of why I think it's important to not get caught up in this like contagion of like critic consensus about things or even what we have to say. Always make up your mind about what you like. And if you enjoy it, you enjoy it. And there's no reason not to.
Yeah, we're
So,
here to talk about movies, not recommend them, not
yeah, we just share
poo-poo
our opinion.
them.
This is in our opinion.
Now you know about Mobland, and there's this movie called Scarface. You should check it
Yeah,
out
right. Real.
if you want to.
Facts.
Both of them, all of them. And my number 1.
Okay. Oh,
Now this makes a little sense. Day
as
of
this
the
came up
Jackal.
earlier tonight.
Yes, Day of the Jackal. The original movie was cold and fantastic, and even they remade this twice because they remade one with Bruce Willis and Richard Gere and Jack Black, and not
Hold
as
out your
good.
hand.
Yeah, hold it, Jane. We should have grabbed some beers. Run, yeah. Not as good as the original, but still a good story. But when they made this into a TV show, I think this story deserved a long telling to really get into why the Jackal is who he is and how he is not just a robot killer like the original movie. Yeah, as a military guy, but like what not what like drove him to it, but what made sense for him to turn into what he has become. And a fun fact about this, there is a basic shot for shot remake of Eddie Redmayne lining up a shot with a custom made rifle and attempting to shoot a melon. And they redid it shot for shot and they did it perfectly. It did not look labored or egregious. He's just such a fantastic actor. And this is, well, not so spoiler. This is definitely one of my top favorite TV shows of last year. Yeah.
It was smart
Day
to
of the
pick a
Jackal.
TV show. I didn't even think in that direction at all. So,
Well, I didn't originally until I was just flipping through. I'm like, Day of the Jackal, I love that. I'm like, wait a minute, that was a remake.
yeah.
And you love that. And you do
Smart.
a show about this stuff. Let's talk
Yeah,
about
yeah.
it. Yeah, I highly recommend anyone watch the show.
Good
And the
choices,
movie.
dude. For real.
Well, thank y'all.
Yeah, man, good. I have come to really love all of these like topics that we're doing. I think they're so much
No
fun.
kidding.
they make me think about and like go back through and peruse like things that I love, and especially things I haven't seen in a really long time. So yeah,
This was one of the more challenging ones because it seemed like the same ones kept coming up. And
Yeah.
I do
Right.
really like it when we are so incredibly different.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, our taste definitely changed and such.
Definitely.
And
Like
that's why we do this.
yeah, for
It's fun.
sure. I always try with any of these, I always try a little bit to think kind of outside the box and stuff about what are the popular choices, because there are just some that like come to people's minds about any of these subjects that we brought up. And I try for the most part to avoid those if I can. And that's why I always say that these are not necessarily like what I think are the best, but they're ones that I enjoy and like
Right.
putting back on the
Exactly.
radar.
The ones you like.
Or I
Yeah.
usually like tweak the question a little bit in my mind of just like,
Mhm.
well, it's not just the remakes. It would be what it was versus what it is. And
Yeah, absolutely. And also solid choices from our Twitter homies tonight who
Yeah,
Yep.
thanks for reaching out. Please keep it up because
yeah, for sure.
we will read them.
Yeah, and I'm sure the topic we're
anything
doing next
on
week.
anybody's radar?
What was I just saw something. Hold on. I'm going to pull up my AMC app.
I think Lazarus. It was Brad. I was sharing that with you
Yeah, there's an anime from the creator of Cowboy Bebop.
and Samurai Champloo.
Yeah, and I love both those animes, and I'm not even really sure what this is about,
Okay.
but I saw some guy breaking out of prison because he says that's what I do. I break out of prisons.
Okay.
And in very anime parkour, never really get tired of jumping high. But
In 2052, an emergency task
Right.
force is assembled with a miracle cure. When a miracle cure is hijacked for purging populations.
Okay.
Okay, so it looks
Sounds
like
interesting.
what do you do with anime?
Yeah.
You find a criminal to help.
Yeah, right.
That's what you do.
So I think
No,
that one comes out. There's the war movie. I think is coming up soon.
Warfare.
Warfare.
Oh,
I want to see Warfare.
Very into that.
Mhm.
I want to
Very
see Warfare and another anime that I screwed up because I thought it was last week and it wasn't. It really wrecked my Friday. That's what kind of first world problems I have. Devil May Cry is coming up this Friday.
This Friday.
That I know Carly was interested in it as well. So
yeah,
it is funny that more and more, like I'll check Netflix on like a Thursday night when everything drops, and it's just like it's more and more like I have no idea what any of these things are.
No, me too.
Sure.
I'm
There's so much to keep track of.
Yeah.
Like, good Lord. One thing that I wanted to go see, like when I went to my movie marathon last Friday, and still may try to catch while it's in theaters, is A Working Man with Jason Statham. I love a good action movie for real. This seems very Brad coded. Like it seems like something Brad would be very into.
I get a kick out of it, but I don't know if I'll go to the theater see another Jason Statham beat him up.
Sure.
I was ready to go see the Looney Tunes movie, but apparently they had pulled that.
Oh, what?
But it did well enough that they allowed the tax write-off one to be bought.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the Roadrunner versus Acme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a company called Ketchup purchased it. And so we're going to see, I mean, it's Looney Tunes, and I think it's got John Cena in it.
Yeah.
So eventually it's going to find its way to streaming somewhere. I don't know if it's going to do a release, but man, Warner Brothers is so fucking weird.
Yeah. Well, that's the CEO this week was just like, he's trying to oust the other two because they are doing non-IP, not enough IP stuff.
Okay.
And he's like, it's literally a Warner Brothers movie of basically like this dude is just evil at this point.
Yeah.
Just destroying good things. Like, you can't have good things.
Sure.
Like HBO, awesome, great. Let's ruin it.
Change it.
Yeah.
Let's call it Max. Like,
yeah, real.
And it's like, oh, he has all this amazing programming. Let's throw a bunch of I don't know, reality shows in between.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, hey, there's this great app that has all this old stuff. Yeah, and now we're going to charge it for commercials.
Right.
And the listen, I know this is an end of podcast rant, but the commercials are so poorly placed.
Mm-mm.
It's getting worse and worse. Of just
You would think just AI would be able to like find a better placement for this shit. Like this is a good use of AI. Go ahead and AI that fucking shit and like put.
I don't
breaks
think
in a
Warner
good
Brothers
place.
they're not paying for AI when you can have a monkey just throw shit against the wall and say,
Okay, right.
there's the point.
That's true.
Facts. Yeah. One other one that I was kind of interested in this coming weekend is Screamboat, which seems to be playing at AMC, which is like a Mickey
Screamboat?
Mouse
Screamboat?
horror movie. I don't know.
Oh, because it's
Screamboat
now,
Willie?
yes, because it hit public
Okay.
domain.
Yep, that's one. And there was
Winnie the
something
Pooh,
else.
Popeye,
Mhm.
unicorns. They're
And I
just
will confirm that
anything you love, they're making horror now.
Princess Mononoke does still appear to be in theaters this coming weekend, guys. So
Okay, I might go pop it and check that out.
that is good. And then also, what looks to be an abomination, unfortunately, is the Minecraft movie. I think it's been poorly received from the first trailer. It looks fucking terrible. Nothing about it looks appealing. I like Jack Black. He's usually pretty charming and I think kind of funny, but
Jason
like
Momoa, but wasn't
looks bleak.
Minecraft kind of, isn't it like kind of over?
Yeah,
I think people still play it. I think there's quite a number of people
I still
who
play
play
Double
it.
Dragon, but
yeah.
I don't want to
yeah,
brag about
was it that Roblox thing is apparently the new
Roblox.
one.
Yeah, my daughter plays that.
I'll tell you, I need a little bit of old school Jack Black. I need him to do a couple like give me Bernie, give me a like
School of Rock.
high fidelity, like the doing all these kiddie shows is being a little much for me.
Sure.
Yeah.
I get that.
And Jason Momoa is he is on complete cruising right now. He's just
Well, I'm looking forward to him playing Lobo.
Listen, I highly recommend that the two of you try and seek out the studio on Apple.
Yeah.
Just for the first episode.
Oh, yeah,
I have access to it now.
Yeah, me too.
I would check it out just for the way that they handle the IP of Kool-Aid.
Okay.
Yes, you mentioned that last week.
The way they handle it is so hilarious when you see something like
Minecraft.
Okay. I've already forgotten about it.
Okay, right. Yeah, real. That sounds going to be it'll make money, like a little bit of money the first weekend, and then that's kind of it. Kind of like Snow White, man. That shit debuted. It kind of bombed for a Disney movie for sure. And then it like super bombed the second weekend. Like it went down like 66%.
Well, I think people didn't even realize, like, oh, let's hate Rachel Ziegler. And then it was, oh, maybe we should really hate Gal Gadot. Oh, maybe we should just really hate everything. Like, it just.
I mean, I would watch it. It's just it's the kind of thing. Like, if I'm going to see that in the theater, it would have to be up against like other shit that I truly do not give a fuck about, because I will go watch anything in the theater for real.
Right.
But yeah, it's just when it's competing against things I want to see more, those are always going to win out over something like Snow White, even though it's a larger Disney movie or whatever. All right. Anything else anybody wants to get off their chest before we get the fuck out of here?
Nope.
Nope.
I'm good.
All right, guys. Well, yeah, keep an eye on us on Twitter for sure, and especially Carly. She'll be posting whatever our topic is going to be for next week, and we love doing these shout outs. They're so much fun. And of course, linked in the audio and video of these, we will have all the access to us. And I'm going to start linking the shout out people as well, in case you do want to follow them on Twitter. They may not necessarily be movie based, but they're
always
entertaining. Pretty solid.
They're always
entertaining. Follow.
And if anybody has any suggestions for topics for us,
of course,
tweet
always
about
open to that.
We will shout you out and we will give them a shot, give them a recommendation.
Absolutely. I'm totally with that.
Come up with some clever ones. We already did sexy movies. That one got real good.
So. I just got a garage door opener, guys. There it goes.
Okay.
All right. But anyway, good night, guys. We'll talk to you next week.
Night, everybody.